Schmaltz, who is a PGA of Saskatchewan professional here in Saskatoon. We're going to talk about your Tour Path putting system first of all, Clinton. But before we get there, how'd you get into golf and make it a living for you?
So I started playing golf. I grew up in Medicine Hat, Alberta. I grew up playing golf at a golf course called Connaught Golf Club. I was lucky. We were just talking about this off camera about how warm it is there. So, we legitimately would play all year, every year, at least 9 months of the year. But it was a unique situation in Medicine Hat because it was like the cool sport to play for boys and girls. So the hardest high school teams to make were the golf teams, which is bizarre because it's not like that here, right? So it's coming. We hope it's coming. And then just hanging out on the golf course, I had so many of my friends that played golf. There's a crazy stat of how many guys that grew up at Connaught Golf Course actually turned professional. It's over 100.
Wow.
It's bizarre, yeah. So, I think the original pro, excuse me, that got me into it was probably a guy named Darren Cook, who's now been at the Camel Club for, probably 35 years. But he was just pros back in the day weren't the nicest guys in the world, and he was. So, and he was a younger guy at the time. So, we all grew up wanting to do that. So, we did what we could. We also assumed that, if you're a golf pro, a club pro, all you get to do is play golf, which, as many of us know, that's not the case because you're working a lot. But no, that's, Darren Cook, I would say, is the main reason why so many of us got into this coming out of that area. And I knew at an early age that I wanted to be a golf professional. I mean, most other sports are dictated by how big you are as how far you can go, right? Especially the era that I grew up in hockey, it was just you had to be a big guy, so that just wasn't in the cards for me. So golf doesn't pick sizes. You can be Rory McIlroy size and still annihilate the golf ball and still be a great player, right? So yeah, I knew early on. and the other thing with golf specifically that really attracted me when I was a kid is that we all played team sports, and if one person on your team was crappy, you lose. Mm-hmm. Golf, it's on you, and I like that. If you put the effort in, it's on you, and if you fail, you fail. It's on you too. So I love that.
Was there junior success for you in college golf, or how did it kind of elevate for you?
I went and played collegiate golf in the U.S. for a little bit, and then I came back, finished. I was in the original class of the professional golf management in Lethbridge.
Many have been through there.
So many have gone through there. Hey, yep. So we were in that inaugural class. It was a bit fun because it was sort of a learning process as we were going to, right? And I think out of maybe 32 people in that class, I think there's only 2 of us that are in the industry still. Yeah, it's bizarre. So, no, junior success. I had a little bit of junior success. It's so different when I was a junior though too. Like I graduated high school in 1992, and we only had. We might have had 4 or 5 tournaments total for a summer. So now you can play 2 a week in the summer if you want, right? So it was different. So success was varied, but success in my mind was playing to the best of my ability, and then you hoped that you would score well in tournaments and not having any training. I mean, very few people got lessons back then. It just wasn't a thing, right? Yeah. And golf was barely on TV as well, so. Yeah, you got what you could, but yeah, it was good. I was good enough, I thought, that I could be a club professional, and as I've gotten older, I've definitely gotten to be a better player. So
for sure.
Yeah.
I guess when did you get your card?
I got my card. This will date me a little bit. So I'm 49, so I got my card when I was 19. We had a different playing ability back then. It was in Alberta, okay. And there were specified dates. And there was 2 classes, and there was Class B and there was Class A. So Class A, you had to shoot 2 rounds of 76 or better in the same day. And the day that I went and got it was at Woodside and Airdrie. It was super windy, and you had to break 85 in your first round to even be eligible for the second round. So I was in the second group out, and I had to wait 4 hours for somebody else to break 85. There was 144 players.
Oh,
and
crazy.
Yeah, so I waited eventually. Bob Paley, who's a good buddy of mine, he's been the head professional at Kananaskis for 20 years plus. And we were the only 2 that got our playing ability that year. So it was an interesting thing. I can remember as a 19-year-old going, like, I can't believe they're making me play in. Like, I could shoot this number in my sleep. And then being young enough to be kind of silly enough to think like that helped. For sure.
So many pros I've talked to, they say that's one of the hardest rounds, or I guess for you, rounds that you had to play to do it. So what brought you to Saskatchewan then?
My wife. So I worked as a club pro in Calgary. When I was an assistant, I was at the Calgary Golf and Country Club. Great facility. It's Canada's Augusta. It's so super private. It's beautiful. People are great. got a head professional job at Stewart Creek out in Canmore in 2003, and then was playing some, provincial events, call it, and had some success for the limited amount of time that I could play. And then I had this group of members that were from the Calgary Country Club that kind of followed me out to Stewart Creek, and they'd been bugging me for years to go and play. So I did. In 2009, I went to Europe. I started in South America I knew I was going to end up in Europe, and I did that for 3 years. I got injured, so I couldn't continue to play, and then I ended up back in Saskatoon because my wife is here, and so I think I moved here I moved here on Halloween Day of 2012. Yeah, so I've been here ever since.
Yeah, so golf has got to take you some places. Hey, at what point did you realize that you might get to see a little bit of the world and, get to play this game?
It was crazy. I mean, part of the reason that I wanted to go over to Europe to play was that, it's an easier road to get to the top and succeed. So I call it the DP World Tour now, European Tour back then. Yeah. And, anyone that's traveled over there, like I lived in very southern Germany, and I could be in Switzerland in 45 minutes. I could be in Bregenz, Austria in like 25 minutes. Yeah. It's different cultures, and it's just, I absolutely loved it. And I grew up with a lot of culture in my family too, so it was an easy pill to swallow. And I love to travel. I miss that part, actually, that being able to pack an entire suitcase in 7 minutes or less and let's go, ready, let's go. Because my wife and daughter can't do that.
Yeah, you've got some great experiences. So you've obviously settled in, and I don't know if I've known you a long time, Clinton, but I just know now that you're a pro, obviously, at the Willows and doing some great stuff. How has your career gone in Saskatoon? And, just be that before we talk about, the tour path.
You bet. So when I got here in the fall of 2012, I had some things fall in my lap. I had no idea what I was going to do when I came here, right? Because this is the first time I'd been to Saskatoon, I think, is when I moved here. So I was lucky enough that a franchise called Golf Tech, which was owned by some people in Calgary at the time, phoned me because they'd heard I'd lived in Saskatoon, and they were, do you want to open it? I was like, sure. And then sort of forecasting the area here that, golf instruction in Alberta was normal. And when I first moved here, it was not normal. It was very, it was almost like if you have to take lessons, you're probably not a very good player.
That's right, yeah.
Which is bizarre because Tiger's been coached since can walk, right?
Yeah.
And still is coached. So
For sure.
it's a bizarre thing, but it's really changed here in the last little bit. There's so many other people now that are making sort of a full-time career out of teaching golf, and it's out there. It's out there. I mean, what the participation numbers are for golf. It's crazy compared to most sports. So, and we've had some success with call it Adam Hadwin, who is from Saskatchewan, and Graham Dillette, and we've had some other great players that have come along the way and we're hoping to develop many more of those, and I think we've got some real special ones coming up. So
yeah, the future is bright for sure. This tour path putting system, what is this all about? Because when Brian was telling me about it, and I said, well, I've seen this on Facebook and Reels and but this is a Saskatoon product from Clinton?
Yeah, so when I was playing, the quick easy story is that we were at an event in southern Turkey. It was raining like crazy, but they had this massive putting green, and it was completely covered with a roof, but it was real grass. So it was the only place that everyone was because you could still be outside, right? Yeah. The rounds were delayed because it was raining so hard. And I saw these guys with the chalk line and they flip it down the line. Usually you would use that on a straight putt to see that your ball is following the path, but these guys were using it for their putting strokes. I remember walking behind that 3 or 4 times and going and then watching them and going, that is so wrong. Oh my God, no good putter would ever putt like that. Because if they did, everyone would just have a ruler and they would, right? So long story short, when I moved to Saskatoon, I still had that idea in my head. So I made a really rough prototype and gave it to a good friend of mine, Dion Protzak, who's one of the owners of Saskatoon Metal Manufacturing. He is also a pretty good player. He's probably a 3 or 4 handicap, and gave him that and had him make it out of metal. And then we started trying it and just running the engineering and the science behind it. It's a bizarre thing that the path that we have patented, or arc or whatever you want to call it, the ball comes out dead zero. It comes out straight, and it blows people's minds away when they do it, because there's lines on it and how to line it up, because you always want to start it at your line. And the hardest thing that I had over the years teaching putting lessons was that everybody has been told straight back, straight through, right? But straight back, straight through for golf isn't a straight linear line. That's actually a curved line because you're standing beside the ball and away from it. And then if you look at...
please bring it up here and use that to demonstrate.
I'll show you in a sec here, but this is an old bullseye, probably from the 50s. And even this has an angled neck. So anything that has an angled neck, basic engineering means that it has to swing on an arc. If it was straight up and down, then it should be straight back and straight through. Well, there's no putter ever made like that. So when we filed for the patent, I was shocked that it was open. I was like, that is the most simplistic thing, and no one's ever patented that. That is bizarre. So we did, and then I'll show you quickly the product here so you can see it here. So every single putter in the world works with this. So and we'll do a demo later, but all you do is get the ball gets set here out in front where the lip is, and then get it set, because every putter is different from the back heel to the center of the putter. Get it set so you're going to hit the center of the putter. Keep the back of your putter on this arc and just roll the ball. So basically we're doing three major things here. Your path is going to be correct. Your face to that path is going to be correct, and you're hitting the center of the club face, which is it was designed to do, right? So if you look at some of the data from Sam Putt Lab and some other great putting companies, no matter what putter you have, they are the most unforgiving clubs in your bag. I mean, if you hit it a little bit on the heel or a little bit on the toe, it's a disaster for direction and speed. So, the big thing with this is that if you're hitting the same spot of the putter all the time, you get that feel for speed. Because everyone always wants to talk about feel when they putt, but let's quantify that, right? So. And then we've got some guidelines on the back here for how far to take it back for 6 feet, 10 feet, 15 feet. The new model now, this is one of the newest ones. It's made out of aircraft grade aluminum. There's no weld marks, there's nothing. And it can be used as left or right-handed. When you order it, you just have to tell me what hand you are, and then we put the sticker on the right side, right? But it is, we've had great success with it. I can't name guys that have bought it because they're not endorsed, but they're people that have won majors playing golf as well. So some from the 90s and some from more recent, let's say.
So when did you make your first one?
2000. The original one would be probably 2017.
Okay, so about 6 years now.
Yeah, it's about 6 years ago, and the original one was totally different. Like the rail, people can probably see the height of the rail now, but the rail was much lower because we were also going to build a putter with it where you cut a groove into the heel, put the putter in there, so you had to keep it on that path, and then COVID hit, and we couldn't get quantity for putters, so we had to get our heads together and think about a way that everyone else's putter could use. Dion sent one down to Graham Dillette because he knows Graham quite well, one of the original ones, and Graham's like, this is an amazing idea, but I can't keep my putter on it. So we're like, oh, okay. He's a tour player and he can't keep his putter on it, so we made the rail higher, sent him another one, and he was like, guys, this is unreal.
Wow.
Yeah, unfortunately he doesn't play anymore.
Yeah,
but he loved it, so we ran with that. And my last coach, and I was still playing, was a guy named Martin Chuck, who's still a really good buddy of mine, really good teacher in the US, very proficient on only promoting or using training aids that actually work, and I would be the same. And sent one to him, and he absolutely loves it, and we kind of can't make them fast enough for him, which is great. And they are made here.
Yeah. And so how far have they gone? I know you don't want to name anybody, but what countries are we talking here?
Oh, they've gone. I mean, clearly our biggest buyer is the United States, obviously, because it's got the biggest golfing population. Secondly, for terms of units sold, is bizarre because it's Korea.
Wow.
Yeah, they buy them 50 at a time, kind of. It is so, and they're golf crazy, obviously. And then Japan's got quite a few of them. Canada's got a few. It's kind of bizarre because we haven't really marketed to Canada yet, because there's just so few people here that buy compared to all the other big numbers. And then it's gone quite well in the UK, and it's gone quite well in Germany as well. So
has it shocked you how well it's went? Just thinking maybe this is something almost not quite personal, but maybe for you and a few buddies, and here you are.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing to see all the things that go on behind the scenes too. Like there's a few players that I can think of instantaneously that anyone can that's going to watch this that are on TV this weekend that absolutely could benefit from using this. It's bizarre, but sometimes egos get in the way, or they're not going to get enough endorsement money, because we've run into that too. So we've seen the ugly side of it too, where we've tried to get, call it golf influencers to take it on, and they want so much money, and it's like, and they don't even care what the product is. They just, here's my number, this is what it is, and then tell me what your product is. And it's like, I don't want to deal with people like that. I want people that are passionate about it, that actually like it, and they're going to use it. So it is surprising to see. I think one of the biggest surprising things, Clark, is that of the 3,000 or 4,000 that we sold so far, is we've only had one sent back.
Wow.
And we had it sent back because the guy wanted a right-handed one, and I accidentally put a left-handed one in the box. So he was trying to use it. He's like, this isn't right. I was like, oh. it's mismarked. So we've never gotten one back, which is great. And the reviews on it are amazing. I think if people use it, like I'll use a lot of my better players. I can kind of tell if they've been using it or not, and I want them to use it because I'm telling you it works. It's whether you believe in muscle memory or not, your eyes are seeing a certain path, and it looks crazy when you first look down on it because the path looks huge, but it's really not. It's really not. If you watch any really good putter over any generation, they all putt on arcs. They all do. That's the one common thing they have. Some of them have their eyes over the ball. Some of them are way inside of the line. Use different grips, different styles, but the best putters of every generation are definitely archy. There's no question.
Great. We're going to get a demonstration right around the corner here. But lastly, just what about this game that makes you so passionate? Just last word. Why you love it so much. You're helping Golf Sask. You're trying to grow the game at the junior level.
Yep.
You're doing some great things, and a lot of your group is over at the Willows and across this province.
Yeah, for sure. So, when I was done playing, I was done playing. So, my whole goal in life was to try to see as many good players realize how good they were, take it to a next level, and then hopefully join the professional ranks. Like I still work with Roman, but I worked with Cade, Roman, Ty when they were all juniors, Mark Sweeney, they were all in the same group, Corey Sealander, all these guys, right? So they were all great players. Cade, Ty, and Roman have tried to take it to another level, and they are going to be good. It's not instantaneous. It's just not. It takes time because there's so many things outside of hitting golf shots when you're trying to do that for a living.
The ocean's bigger, right, outside of Saskatchewan.
It sure is, absolutely. And as long as they could stick through their process, and they'll get there for sure. There's no question. But I'm passionate about it. I love to see people get better at any level. I really do. I'm an empath, so if I can't be, I'm not worried about my golf game anymore. I'm worried about everyone else's golf game that comes. Right, they're paying you for a certain reason. They're paying you. They're coming in with some kind of pain, and you're trying to alleviate that pain and make them understand how they can get rid of that pain. And it's a pretty intoxicating experience, to be honest. Yeah.